As Maulik already mentioned before, we have achieved highest ever sales of 1,551 crore, that is up by 87% compared to previous year. This is mainly on account of better realization for all the product and higher volume of caustic soda and hydrogen peroxide. The overall plant utilization 87%, which is improved by 6% compared to FY21. The production of hydrogen peroxide has ramped up and the utilization of 78% in FY22 as compared to 57% in FY21. The issue realization of caustic soda and caustic potash increased by 74% and 27% respectively compared to previous year. Issue realization for caustic soda stood at 37,062 in FY22 compared to 21,300 in FY21. Sales realization of chloromethane and hydrogen peroxide increased by 53% and 20% respectively compared to previous year. In absolute terms, our EBITDA has close to almost double, that is rupees 509 crore compared to 261 crore in FY21. The margin at 33%. Our PAT has gone up by 2.5 times to rupees 253 crore. PAT margin improved to 16% compared to 12% in last year. On year-on-year basis for Q4, the revenue from operation grew 93% to rupees 499 crore, backed by better realization for all the products. EBITDA grew by 118% to rupees 175 crore, with EBITDA margin to highest level of 35%, and PAT grew by 202%, that is to rupees 99 crore, compared to with PAT margin of 20%. The long-term debt has increased by rupees 239 crore in FY22, as the company has borrowed additional long-term debt of 359 crore for its ongoing expansion project and made a repayment of 120 crore. Debt to EBITDA, which was 2.1 in FY21, has decreased to 1.9x in FY22. The ratio improved substantially despite the fact that company has borrowed more funds for its capex project. This is due to the absolute growth in the EBITDA. On one-to-one comparison, our debt to EBITDA has improved to 1.5x if we do not consider the reclassification of preference shares as a debt. The expansion project with commission as per scheduled plan, we have incurred cash outflow of rupees 449 crore in FY22. With this, we can open the floor for Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may please press star and 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Our first question is on the line of Manish Jain from Money Life Advisory Services. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I just had one question. What is the demand outlook for the upcoming quarters for ECH with respect to the domestic industry?
Your voice was not clear. We were not able to hear you. Can you repeat your question?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask regarding the demand outlook for the upcoming quarters for ECH.
Manish, sorry to interrupt, but your voice is not that clear. Request you to please speak up a bit.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So my question is regarding the demand outlook for the upcoming quarters for ECH with respect to the domestic industry.
Yeah. Regarding the ECH, right?
Yeah.
So, epichlorohydrin project, currently what we are doing it is under final commissioning of the project, and we are going to commission probably in next couple of months. Currently the ECH is in peak demand due to the infrastructure projects are going on all over the world, and the demand has picked up after the COVID situation. So in terms of the automobile, in terms of the windmill, renewable energy, in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of the epoxy resin, demand is now all over the world is very high. Along with a pharmaceutical and the water treatment demand is also gone up and recently. So looking at this situation, and along with this, there are logistic challenges in terms of the world. So people are facing, supply issues right now all over the world. So domestic people, they prefer to buy from the domestic manufacturing, and this is the situation of the epichlorohydrin right now. And we continue to believe that it will remain the same for next 1 or 2 years time.
Okay.
Manish, is the question answered?
Hello. Yeah, my question is answered. Just wanted to ask you this, that can you just provide me the demand outlook in terms of tonnage per year?
Currently, the Indian demand, domestic demand is around 75,000 tons, and which is also growing because domestic manufacturing people are continuously expanding to gather the market share, which is growing demand in the world. So people are setting up an additional capacity in India. So in next 1 to 2 years, we are expecting to grow in more than double digits of epoxy resin in Indian capacity. And so I think the demand probably in next financial year, it will reach to more than 85 to 90 KTA in India.
Okay. Thanks. That's it from my side.
Thank you. Anyone who wish to ask a question at this time, they may please press star and 1. Our next question is from the line of Rohit Nagraj from MK Global. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, and congrats on a very good set of numbers. My first question is in terms of caustic capacities which are coming apart from ours. So what is the expectation of new caustic capacities which will be coming in FY23 apart from our 100,000 tons?
Apart from?
Meghmani is 100,000 tons.
So, other than the Meghmani's 100 KTA, the other plants are coming is growing. Like Jinal is also coming with a plant of caustic soda, and which is gradually they are going to increase the capacity, but their project is on the verge of the commissioning. But what is the status of exact project, we are not able to comment on that.
Right. I just wanted a ballpark number, how much capacity increase may happen in FY23 once the new capacities from us and competitors come in. Just a ballpark number.
Frankly speaking, we are not able to comment exactly how much capacity they will grow in FY22 because majority or everybody is coming different time, and their project status is, these projects are run for a longer period of time. So when they are going to end and when they are going to commission, it is difficult to comment. I think you have to wait for their on call, and then you are able to get the exact answer of that.
Right. Sure. Second question is caustic imports. So how has it helped in terms of the domestic demand supply, and what is the expectation of imports maybe at least over the next few quarters? Thank you.
Rohit, this is a good question, but when caustic are not able to import in India since last 6 months, if you are seeing, we are net exporter right now. And I believe that in next, looking at the current international demand and looking at the current infrastructure projects and logistic challenges, and in Europe, major energy crisis is happening, and some of the force major plants are in USA. Looking at the current situation, we believe that we are going to continue doing exports from India for next couple of quarters at least.
Sure. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot and best of luck. If there are any more questions, I'll come back in the queue. Thank you.
Thank you. If you wish to ask a question, please press star and 1 at this time. Our next question is from the line of Madhav Dhanuka from Finechem Capital. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity, and congrats to you for the good numbers you have. First question is, can you throw some light on the debt repayment structure? It is sequentially increasing from year-on-year basis?
Increasing what? Sorry, I'll get to it.
Okay. As I briefed in my presentation, that our debt has increased. Our debt has increased to a highest level of 965 crore in FY22, but this is a peak level. Going forward, as per already we announced about the chlorotoluene, we are going to do with the internal accruals, so we are not going to borrow the additional fund for that. And looking to the regular repayments, our debt will be reduced substantially because we are going to have round about 140 to 150 crore repayment on year-on-year basis. And looking to all these numbers, debt to the EBITDA will definitely remain below 2%, which has already been 1.9 in FY22.
Thank you, sir. Sir, and my next question is, can you throw some light on capacity expansion, how the capacity expansion will help in improving margins and the products we are focusing in that capacity? Can you please throw?
Yeah. So, we have announced 3 major projects. One is epichlorohydrin, second is a chlorinated PVC, and third is the expansion of the caustic soda. So these 3 projects are going to commission probably one by one in next 3 to 4 months' time. So in FY23, definitely our volume growth we are expecting to achieve close to 20%, which is coming from all these 3 projects going to start and commission up running. And in FY24 we are expecting full year basis all 3 projects will be running. So we are next 2 years our expansion and our revenue will come from this expansion quantity which we are going to commission in next 3 months.
And to add to that, the products that we are getting into like ECH and CPVC are high value products. So that will actually improve our absolute EBITDA. That will continuously grow. So to answer your question on margins level, margins will be again in the lines that we are into like 28% plus minus 2%. But this absolute EBITDA will improve our ROC down the line.
And thank you, sir, for this question. Sir, can you also tell me in 2018 and 19, our margin was substantially high. It was 42 to 43%, but it was decreasing to 32% level. So is there any raw material problem that we are not passed upon or still?
Yes, this is on the, you are right. This is a little bit on the higher side, 35% EBITDA margin. But in the longer term, whatever the raw material prices are increased in last 6 months, we are able to pass on to the customers. That's why our EBITDA margin is on the higher side. And we expect in the coming times also it will be like that because of the high demand of the products.
Thank you, sir, for answering all the questions.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Meghmani Finechem from BNK Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Congratulations on the very strong set of numbers.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. So just had a few questions. Sir, we were any which ways running in a very tight market before the international power fiasco has started taking place. So today, if I look at, let's say, Europe, and I think their production of capacities are in the range of 12 to 15 million tons. And I think there would be, number one, a very high power cost, which they will now start having to pay with respect to caustic production. I think from what we can understand, the power costs have gone up anywhere between 2.5 times what they normally used to be. And I think even subsequently, once they shift to Qatar gas and stuff like that, the landed power cost would probably end up being 1.6, 1.7x of what it originally was. Plus, going into the winter months, I think there will be heightened uncertainty with respect to gas supplies from Russia, which I think is one of the main source of power for them. So in this light, are we seeing more inquiries coming in from some of these European players for having contracts with the domestic caustic manufacturers?
Yes, you are right. This is also one of the reasons over and above the high demand of the products because of the infrastructure projects started in the after COVID situation by different countries to come out from the economic crisis situation. Yeah, this is the reason in Europe right now. But other than that, there are force majeure in the US also in some of the plants. That is also boosting a demand in the caustic soda in the world market. Another reason is that there are high logistical costs. Also, the demand is peaking by the nearby the countries where minimize the cost of the transportation for the caustic soda. So there are multiple reasons which will lead to this kind of situation.
Right, sir. So,
yeah, as you rightly said, other than the African region, in Europe also it is started an inquiry for the caustic soda. So, in India, we are net exporter right now for the caustic soda. In the future, in coming quarters also, we believe that it will continue doing for the caustic soda net exporter, yeah.
Right, sir. So, as I think another participant had earlier mentioned that some capacities are coming up. So now even we are putting up this 100 KTPA capacity. By when will it get commissioned? And like GNAL, will also our scale up be very gradual in terms of production from this new capacity?
I think this is a very good question. If you have noticed that, after 2018, we are expanding our chloroalkali capacity based on our derivatives expansion. So, and like chlorine derivatives and the hydrogen derivatives which we are adding, for that we are expanding our caustic soda capacity. So, we are going to believe in the complete integrated complex. And so majority of the expansion, what we are doing it for ourselves, for internal consumption mainly. So it is a completely different model. I don't think so. It is compare apple to apple, different companies in the chloroalkali segment itself. So, but yeah, you are rightly said that we are coming with a one single stroke because this is not a big capacity. This is only 100,000 ton plant capacity expansion. So we are coming with one stroke only probably we'll commission in the second quarter, beginning of the second quarter.
Beginning of the right. And you don't see the market getting oversupplied with caustic because of GNALs as well as our capacity additions.
The caustic soda is never going to be issue in the world because right now it is short supply and people are doing the net export from the country like India. So again, challenge with all the chloroalkali people will be how they are integrated, how they will consume chlorine and hydrogen. So as you rightly, I think you must have noticed that we are coming with the epichlorohydrin and the chlorinated PVC plant which will consume chlorine, which is coming out from our expansion of caustic soda plant. So we are well integrated, so we are better off, we feel that in the coming times, once we commission caustic soda along with both the derivatives together.
Right. So in our presentation, I've seen that for the current quarter, we've done caustic realization of, I think, close to 49,000 rupees per ton. Yeah.
Right.
It's up from 45 last quarter. So 2 questions. Number one is, what is our current ECU realization for the quarter? If 49 is caustic realization, is the chlorine bit pulling it down by 2-3 rupees, or is there a net add given where we stand currently? So that's the first question. And second question is that compared to the 49,000 rupee average that we had for last quarter, how would the current realization stand?
You rightly observed that issue which was of roundabout, which was of 45,800 in last quarter, that is quarter 3, that has increased to 49,300 in quarter 4. And going forward, we're looking to the demand, we are expecting to be in a bullish, and as of now also it is in a range of 50,000 per ton issue as a whole for caustic soda line.
So when we talk about ECU, it means it is net.
Net, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the ECU is 50,000, caustic realization will be 49,000 for the quarter. Is my understanding correct?
No, we are saying that our issue is 49,000, which is a net, including the realization of chlorine also, and we expect that it remain in the same range in the coming quarters also.
So currently, as you are, to answer your question, current caustic price is higher than the 49,000. Yeah.
Correct. So we're being conservative to a certain extent. So final question, sir, on power cost. I think in between there was a lot of worry with respect to imported coal and prices moving up, etc. Today, on a blended basis, what would our cost of unit of power be, and how has this moved over the last couple of quarters?
So I can comment that the last entire year, our average cost of power is coming around 7.67, which is still, in irrespective of the coal prices increase, which is still lower than the grid power.
Correct. And grid power would be how much? 12 rupees right now, current rate?
No, so grid power is around 8.5, yeah.
8.5, okay.
Yeah. But which is also likely to increase based on the current situation, yeah.
Right. So, but we feel that, on a quarterly basis, probably now the unit power costs have peaked up. Would that be a fair assessment?
Peaked up. Has it peaked up or? Yeah, it looks like. So looking at the current situation, it looks like it has picked up. But so it looks like picked up because now the prices have been stabilized a bit. So yeah, you are right in that way.
Right. So that's all the questions from my side. Wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Riya Mehta from Equitas Investments. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Firstly, congratulations on great set of numbers. My first question would be from context of power. So, how much coal inventory do we have, or how is the linkages in place? Could you please explain?
Riya, looking at our location, we are next to the port, and majority of the coal we are importing from Indonesia for the power.
Right.
So we don't keep inventory a lot at because the port is only 5 kilometers distance from our location. So so normally we don't keep more than a month coal in our yard. But definitely in terms of the booking, we can keep 2-3 months booking in advance. We can do it, but we don't need to store at our location. Yeah.
Okay, so currently the prices of Indonesian coal had spiked up. So how had we hedged against it, or what was our precarious move?
I think we are not focusing to hedge or something, but the coal prices increased. So, but same time we are able to pass on this cost to the product, and the sales realization also increase in the caustic soda. So, we are as and when we are able to pass on the benefits, pass on the cost to the customers, so we are not concerned, So our EBITDA margin is well maintained. So we don't try to hedge or something like that. Yeah.
What would be the current cost of acquisition of the coal right now?
So what kind of GCV you are buying, it depends on that. So it is very difficult to judge a per ton cost of coal, So every time, we depends on the cost of each GCV. We decide what kind of GCV we wanted to buy a coal. So it is not a fixed price. Based on the GCV, we keep changing according to the time and the price.
So basically, you're saying we can more than offset the increase in cost of coal and we can pass it on to the customer, but without taking a hit on the margin, right?
That's right. Yeah, that you can see very well in our results as well.
Yeah, so actually QOQ, I was just seeing that our, in fact, gross margins have improved rather than deteriorating. So what would be the key, how are we able to manage this?
So that is a strength of if you read our presentation, that is a strength of completely integrated complex where you don't need to spend too much money on the manufacturing cost in terms of the transportation, in terms of the sales and distribution. So when one product is coming out, it is going to the another product, which is value-added chemistry. So this is a strength of a completely integrated complex, which can see.
No, I am talking QOQ, sir. QOQ, how has it improved? I'm sure it was all of these things are there in Meghmani since years.
So it is because of the sales realization. Our volume growth is only 3%.
Right. Okay. And the second question would be, one or two competitors have already put in place caustic capacities. So going forward, do we see any dip in our capacity utilization for caustic soda or decrease in ECUs?
Caustic soda is, if I, give you the answer of this question, I would say no. Because the caustic soda demand is growing year by year, depends on the country is growing, depends on the GDP of the country. So in current situation, I believe that once in a year we require sizable size of the caustic soda plant to commission. It's required in India. Looking at the growth in terms of the infrastructure spending, looking at the renewable energy spending, looking at the pharmaceutical industries as well as the agrochemical industries, looking at the PLI scheme launched by the government. So we believe that once in a year, sizable caustic soda plant has to come in India, which can easily absorb in terms of the chlorine, hydrogen or caustic soda.
Okay, so as per you, the entire increase in capacity will be absorbed and we would be running at more than 89% capacity utilization, which we did this quarter. Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And the ECUs, would we see any detrimental because of change in demand-supply dynamic, or we would see the similar kind of ECUs?
See, in the next, it is very difficult to forecast for a longer period of time, but I would say for next 3 months, we would say that the current ECU which can sustainable, and around sustainable,
Okay. Also, as per your guidance for 50% growth in terms of value and 22% in terms of volume, what would be the key user industry we are looking at, and what would be the key segments? Like, I am sure it is a new ramping up of the capacities, but which areas do we see more demand coming from, and where do we see this kind of growth coming from?
See, if you say about the last quarter, so compared to the last year or this year, there is a huge difference. In terms of the infrastructure, that was very constant. But looking like a paper industries and the textile industries, which was not doing great in last financial year, which is supposed to start doing, in terms of the performance. I think there is a great demand from these two sectors is coming up now. So which is a sizable consumption in terms of the caustic soda.
Actually, I was talking in terms of your overall guidance, volume guidance of 20% and value growth of 50%. For the next year, where do we see it coming from? Because I think paper and textile have already picked up in FY22. So for FY23 and forward, which sectors do we see it coming majorly from, and what made us give this huge guidance?
So in terms of, overall, I think if you see, we are coming up with a epichlorohydrin and the CPVC plant. So the major volume growth will come from these two major, along with our caustic soda expansion. So all these three sectors, epichlorohydrin, which is completely new sector, which we are going to start catering, which is epoxy resin, pharmaceutical and the water treatment resin manufacturing, and CPVC, which is is a different addition of the segment, which is hot water pipe application for households. So these are the two major applications which we feel that the growth will come in next financial year, or I believe FY23 as well as FY24.
Okay, and the realization over here are also sustainable, right?
Yes. In fact, the realizations over here are higher compared to the products that we are into. So just to highlight on that part, the asset turnover ratio that we generally used to enjoy from our old products, here that will be even higher. So that will ultimately help us to have an absolute EBITDA growing continuously.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for your detailed guidance.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Ahmed from Unifi Capital. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir. The first question was regarding the domestic for epichlorohydrin. I think you told number somewhere about 70 to 80,000 tons. Is it correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So if we look at the total supply coming up, we are coming up with 50,000 in capacity, and DCM Shriram is coming up with 50,000 in capacity, and then there is imports coming to our country. So in that sense, will there be any discrepancy between the demand supply in FY23 and FY24? Or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a good question. Normally the chemical plants like epichlorohydrin and which will take normally 2 to 2.5 years time to commission the project. If you can see in our case also almost 2 years, which we are going to commission probably in this quarter, ECH plant. So, and the Indian demand is growing in a double digit for the epoxy resin, along with other application like pharmaceutical and the water treatment resin manufacturing. That is also growing at double digit. So, if you have noticed that the epoxy resin manufacturer has also announced their capacity expansion in India. So we don't have any issue in coming times if the ECH capacity will expand in India. We see the next 5 years, in Indian growth of epichlorohydrin kind of product is going to continue in a double-digit region.
Yeah. If I can just add to that, Mohit. So basically, by the time what you said, there are other suppliers coming up in terms of the commissioning the plant. So by the time they commission the plant, the demand, which is right now around 75,000-80,000 KTPA, will definitely cross 100,000 tons per annum, considering the new capacities of epoxy resin plants are coming in India. So it's like this, because there are suppliers of ECH, the demand for the manufacture of epoxy resin is also increasing in India. So that's where we are confident enough to get that supply easily absorbed in the market.
Got it. But for the capacity, I think our capacity is coming in the first half itself, and DCM's capacity is coming in second half. Imports will continue as they are. So in that context, we will be still there will be some demand gap will be there, because supply is definitely higher than the demand. So my question coming to that was, how do we look at the realizations and the pricing moving for ECH in the domestic market?
I think I'm not sure, but I think can you check your data? I think there is year is a difference. You are saying second half, but which year?
FY23.
I don't think so. But if I think we are not able to comment on that. But I think it is not in FY23.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to our knowledge, DCM is coming up there somewhere in the early of FY24, and by that time comes, the demand for the ECH will be going faster. And plus, currently the 75 to 80,000 KTPA demand that we are seeing, that is import data, that is also on the shortage side.
Yes. Okay, got it. But they guided about Q4 FY23 or you say H1 FY24, both are safe. So doesn't matter. Okay, that's okay. Now, second question of the caustic exports. So of the 270k tons we did this year, what percentage will be exports?
In last financial year?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, last financial year we have exported only 5% of the, including all the products, So 95% of the products we are doing domestic business. Yeah.
Okay. And incrementally, whatever volume we expect, do we expect high share of exports?
No, looking at current realization, we are getting better in the domestic market, so we prefer to do it continuing, into selling in the more quantity in the domestic market. But in the future, if we increase the realization in the export, definitely we would love to do that in the export. So we don't decide a ratio from the beginning. We decide based on the realization where we wanted to export or domestic. So we keep changing. It is not a fixed strategy. So whether we are for the domestic or we wanted to sell in the export market. But yeah, current situation, we believe that the domestic are giving more realization, so we would like to continue with the same kind of ratio in coming times as well.
Got it. So the last and the very basic question is, what is the total fuel mix? What percentage is captive? How much we are procuring from grid?
So currently, out of the total requirement, almost you can say 100 or 98 or 99% will be met from the internal captive power plant, and there is hardly that we take from grid. As and when required, we take it from the grid.
Yeah. So the ratio is very low, but in the future it will be around 90-10 kind of situation.
Okay. Got it. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Neeraj Mansinka from White Pine Investment Management. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Just a few questions. One, what is the difference between the realization of the exports and the domestic market for caustic?
So the export market is driven by so many factors. So it is keep changing. So sometimes if it is a good demand, there is a force majeure in some of the plant. If there is a logistical issues, so it depends in the many factors. But yeah, there is always a difference, and sometimes we get a higher relation in the export, so we prefer to do export. But majority time we are getting higher relation in the domestic market, and automatically if the export price is increasing, automatically the reflection in the domestic price is also coming of the caustic soda.
Okay, but just a thought process. Do you see that with the start of the Jinan plant, you may need to do a higher export, and hence the realization may have some amount of moderation?
See, if you are talking about general caustic soda industries, as a caustic soda from the western region, already in last 1 year, if you see the data, we are continuously doing the export, month by month. So definitely if the plant will increase, because looking at the current situation in the world market, where there is a demand is very high of caustic soda, we don't, it is not going to be any issue, even though we need to do a more quantity of the export, because Gujarat is a sea area, and where the majority of the ports are nearby. So for the caustic soda kind of manufacturing, we are nearby the port area. So I don't think so it is a major issue to do export more quantity if it is required to do it in the coming time.
Any thought process when the Jinan plant will start?
I cannot able to comment on that.
Okay, so because it will impact your market. That's the reason I was asking you. Okay, the other thing is on the. Can you share us the realization right now, and what is the margins on the ECH on the current pricing?
I don't think so. We already given a guidance that we are able to maintain 28 plus or minus 2% EBITDA as a company as a overall. So it is, we are not able to comment on the exact particular product-wise margin.
Okay. So is there some color on?
Your voice is not clear.
Your voice is breaking, Neeraj. Request you please come in a network area.
Hello.
It seems we have lost the line for the current participant. We will move to our next question. That is from the line of Giriraj Daga from KM Besaria Family Trust. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, team. My question is related to coal. So, what was our consumption cost in the last fourth quarter?
Yeah. Okay. The coal prices of around 9,000 rupees. And consumption we have around about 60,000 on a monthly basis. So for the quarter, it's like 80,000 metric tons.
So I just want to confirm that we are talking about consumption cost, not the purchase cost, right? Because you will be carrying some part of that inventory in the next quarter. So this 9,000 rupees is the consumption cost in the fourth quarter. And what is the like-to-like consumption cost in the first April month?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
So the number what you gave, 9,000 rupees consumption cost of coal in the fourth quarter, what is the like-to-like number for the April month coal consumption cost?
For the April month?
Yeah.
So, it is every week there is a coming of coal index, which is very standard and internationally available. So based on that, the price movement of the coal is happening right now. And we are buying based on the index of the coal index, which is published by the various agencies. So based on that, it is keep changing, and it is not fixed always.
No, I understand, sir. But
data published by the coal, yeah.
Yeah. The idea is to understand, like, has it gone up by 20%, 25%, 30%, just to get some sense there.
Yes. If you see, it's month to month there is a variation, but variation is not high currently. It is not the variation compared to the last 3-4 months. The variation of the coal price is not very high right now.
Okay. So that's to understand, like, we are seeing about 1 rupee increase in the EC realization compared to Q4 to April so far. The coal cost is similar about that range only. So that EBITDA spread per kg is broadly stable. That's what the fair assumption?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Alisha Mahavla from Envision Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good evening, and thank you for taking my question. Just wanted to clarify an earlier comment. For the year, we've done 20% volume growth. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So in that case, obviously, we've seen very strong realizations, obviously, especially on the caustic soda side. So just wanted to understand that when we do talk about next year a 50% volume growth, are we expecting the realizations to sustain at the current level? Because that is fairly optimistic.
I think 50% value-wise and 20% growth we have announced for the next financial year.
Yeah, but the 50% will be on the base of this year, right?
50% basis from the this year basis, but that is value growth. So volume-wise, we have announced, it is going to be 20% based on the current financial year, the last financial year, yeah.
Which I understand, which will be because of the new capacities that are coming in the newer segments.
That's right. And the last financial year, whatever 20% growth which we have achieved, because of whatever the expansion which we have done in 2 years, 1.5 years ago about the hydrogen peroxide and the caustic soda expansion, because of that, we are getting a result of in last financial year. So currently what we are doing, going to do it, all 3 expansions, which will give us a result in FY23 as well as FY24.
Okay, but this is still on the assumption that the current realizations will sustain, because first we need to hit our 1500 mark and then only we can talk about an incremental 50% growth, which I understand is a mix of volume and value. Anyway, the second question was, earlier I believe the guidance always used to be that the margin, and this I believe was also mentioned in the last quarter call, the EBITDA margin would be in the range of 28 to 32%, but now we're talking about 28 plus minus 2%. Are the newer products going to be at relatively lower margins, or they'll take longer to stabilize?
See, on the EBITDA margin side, again, if the prices are in moving line, what we have anticipated, it can be around 30%, but on a conservative side, it can go 26%. So prior quarter also, we had mentioned the same thing, 28% plus minus to EBITDA margin that we'll be able to maintain.
Okay, sure. And new capex that we're announcing in the chlorotoluene side, are we quantifying what is the kind of capex we're looking to do here?
So overall capex we have already announced. We are going to do it in the chlorotoluene derivative project around 180 crore. Out of part of the capex of 180 crore, we are going to spend in the next financial, in the current financial FY23, and part will be done in the FY24.
And what is the kind of asset turn we're expecting on this investment?
The asset turnover ratio again here will be around 2.5 to 3x.
Okay.
And also, just to Alisha, to answer your earlier question in terms of the guidance of 50% in terms of value growth, that is again on a normal basis side. So we have considered the realizations which are peak at right now, but the products that we are getting into ECH and CPVC, they are high value products, because of which we are at least reasonably confident enough to reach to have a 50% growth on the current FY23, so that reaches around 2250 of revenue.
Understood. One last question, if I may. So these 3 new capacities that will come on stream during the year, I believe in an earlier call you had mentioned that at peak they will add about 1,000 crores to our revenue, and our existing capacity is also currently running at almost peak. So let's say between this we can do 2,500 to 3,000 crores, and the chlorotoluene will add say another 500, 550. What about, and we have a vision to reach 5,000 crores by 27. So are we looking at more capex, newer products, any other announcements?
Yeah. So as you are rightly explained, the ECH and CPVC on the full year basis, we are able to reach close to 3,000 crore at current conditions and prices. And the chlorotoluene will add around 3,500 crore up to eventually in the first phase and second phase. So, we have that, we have targeted to reach a 5,000 crore along with the different options. So as and when, in the time goes, we are expanding one by one projects, but we are making sure that our debt to EBITDA will remain not more than 2.
Okay, sure. Okay. And we're not looking at adding capacity in hydrogen peroxide or chloromethanes currently?
There are many projects are under discussions right now which can lead to us to reach at 5,000 crore. But once, board will approve, we are able to announce at the right time.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Naitik Mohata from Joint Ray Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello, good evening, sir, and congratulations on a great set of numbers. Just a couple of questions from my side. Just to add on to previous participants' question, this added volume that we are going to generate from the value-added products, epichlorohydrin and CPVC resin, what are the volumes we are expecting in coming quarters like Q1 or Q2 FY23 from them?
So, again, ECH and CPVC is something yet to get commissioned. So, ECH we had announced Q1, so by maybe in the May or June we will commission ECH. And Q2, the CPVC will commission early Q2 and the additional capacity of caustic soda. So for ECH and CPVC, it generally takes 3 months times to reach to optimum capacity utilization. So you can say this year we will have a partial benefit of ECH and CPVC, and FY24 will be a year where we will get the full benefit. So initially 3 months it might run on 50% capacity, and post that slowly gradually the capacity utilization will improve for CPVC and ECH. And caustic soda, I guess in a month or 2 months time it will reach to the slowly staggeringly improve its optimum capacity utilization.
Okay, excellent. And sir, what is the percentage of exports that we are doing in caustic soda?
So currently, it is very minuscule because, as Maulik sir earlier said, that as the price, because we generally focus on sales based on the realization. So the export prices go up. Similarly, that has an impact on the domestic price also. So currently, there is hardly anything we do as an export. But tomorrow, if we get a higher realization for our products in the global market, we might go for exports. But right now, it is very less.
Okay. And lastly, regarding this 8% preference shares that we have issued of 211 crores to our parent company, what does the timeline for its interest payments are like? Do we pay at the end of the year, or are we considering the payment equally throughout the quarters?
Okay. With regard to this 211 crore, which belongs to the Meghmani Limited, we are making provision of this interest with a rate of 8%, but we're going to pay on an annually basis, not on a quarter-to-quarter basis. So cash outflow will be on a yearly basis.
So cash outflow amounts to somewhere around 16 to 20 crores, and I don't think so that we see those 16 crores in this year Q4 results. So when are we planning to pay like the first outflow of that interest payment?
Yeah, you're talking about the cash outflow?
Yes.
It's going to take place because we are waiting for this board meeting, which has already been there today. So maybe in the next 2 months, we're going to make this cash outflow also before 30th June.
Okay. And also, what are our plans regarding redeeming these shares?
Actually, the redemption period is of 20 years. So, if we're going to redeem, look into a cash flow in future, but as of now, the redemption period is 20 years. So, look into a growth trajectory. We are not expecting to redeem in the near future as of now, at least not in the next 2 to 3 years.
I only ask this as the company is generating good amount of cash flows, and this is good time for our company. So, the only question that it raises is, if not now, then when? Or are we planning to reduce our debt first and then probably draw up a timeline regarding payments of these funds?
The strategies of repaying this can keep varying. You're right in terms of the cash flows which have been generated now. But if you see, the expansion projects are just getting completed in the current financial year. Thereafter, the free cash flow will be actually available. So looking into that and whatever are the dividend policy which the management is deciding, keeping both these things in view, and also the debt-EBITDA ratios which we have already guided under 2, keeping all the three things in view, probably there could be a thought on repayment, but at this point in time, there's nothing which is concrete.
Okay. Thank you. That's all from my side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pritesh Chheda from Lucky Investment Managers. Please go ahead.
Sir, after this 49,000 issue that we see in your presentation, what is the kind of movements that are in the issue realization, and what is the corresponding cost increase, if any, let's say what we see in April? And my second question is, we have this capacity mentioned as 315,000 for caustic. The quarterly volume that I see is 70. Is that the capacity operates at this 90%, or there is a scope for improvement? And my last question is, we have an expansion plan of about 110,000 in caustic. At what capex per ton the new capacities would come up in the system? It would be very helpful to understand.
Just to give you the starting from the last question which you are asking for capex, every company has a different timing they are expanding and they are debottlenecking their capacity. So, looking at the existing infrastructure in the complex, I believe that this 110,000 tons, what we are planning to do a capex which is very low, because majority of the expansion and the capex which we have done in the previous phase of expansion, we are going to utilize majority of the infrastructure from that expansion. But it is very difficult to comment and exact numbers in the forum.
But if you were supposed to put, I'll put it this way, if you were supposed to put a greenfield today, what it would come at?
See, it is, if you do it a greenfield today, it is very difficult to comment, because the current situation where the steel, cement, all the equipment prices are crazy right now. So I think even company like us, we have an experience of last 12 years also. We need to redo everything to exactly calculate what kind of capex will be done based on current situation. It is very difficult to comment for the current part, yeah.
Okay. If you could give then my answers to the first two questions. What are the issue realization now, and what are the cost increases after the quarter? And
the issue realization is about 49,000 quarter 4, and we expect that it remains in the same level, in the range of the same 49 to 50,000 in coming quarters also.
And we are not change in terms of in the coming quarters, we are not expecting major change in terms of the raw material cost as well, input cost as well.
Okay. And my second question was, our rated capacity is 315 and our quarterly volume is 70. So is it that capacity operates at 90% or there is scope to take it to 100?
I think it's the optimal capacity to run a plant of 90% on capacity of 315 KTA. It's the optimal level. It's the optimal level.
Okay. And so just coming back to my third question, let's say in the past I have seen a lot of capacities that come at 40,000 rupees a ton in capacities which were before these steel price rise. Will this 40,000 rupee a ton capacity capex be now substantially higher, let's say, 40-50% higher for a new capex, or it will not be that much as a number? If you could at least guide us there.
Yeah, I can say it is minimum 50% higher at least, but exact number is very difficult to know.
So it is 40-50% higher, the new capex.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, and all the best to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Dr. Amit Vora from the Homeopathic Clinic. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, Maulik Bhai, Mr. Soparkar, and congratulations for the excellent set of numbers. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So, as I see from most of the questions, we have done an excellent year last year, FY22. The fear that is that will we be able to maintain these kind of sales going, seeing the caustic soda prices are high, last year was high, but will we be able to maintain these kind of sales and margins? And also, as we all know that Grasim is coming up with a capacity of 106,000 for caustic soda, but you have also answered about caustic soda that there is no fear about that. But still, the only fear is that whether we will be able to maintain these kind of sales.
It is very difficult to give the exact answer of your question, but I can comment that in this year we have reached the ECU, which is very good right now, and it is going to continue, we believe. But in FY21, we have achieved the lowest ECU. So I believe that in coming time, irrespective of anything, there is no possibility to reach back to a original level of FY21 or the first quarter of FY22. So so there is a possibility it might go down a little bit, but I don't think so it will come back to a original level of FY21 or the quarter one of FY22.
Normally these things, the visibility of this could be a maximum of a quarter. So as we stand today, probably the next quarter, this quarter at least looks good. But this month has been good in terms of the realization. So maybe at the end of this quarter, when we meet for the Q1 results, probably we could see and reassess it again.
Okay. And what is the percentage of caustic soda that we use internally? After looking out 6 months down the lane, after all the expansions have started, what will be the percentage of caustic soda that will be used internally? Out of the total, even the new addition, 4,25,000, if we add it with existing 3,15,000 plus 1,10,000.
So including the pipeline customers and the captive, we are going to be, after the ECH commissioning, we are going to be consume approximately around 15% of that, our capacity.
15% will be used internally, you mean to say?
Pipeline customers as well as internally, I would say.
Okay. And one last question. Our debt is around 960 crores, and I think someone told that 140 crore will be returned. So out of the 960 repayment, yeah. So 966 crore minus 140 crore?
No, it's a payable our debt is of 965 crore on FY22, that is 31st March 2022. And on the basis of the question, we are saying that we have a repayment of around 140 crore on year-to-year basis. So that means 140 crore will be the outflow in the FY23.
Yeah.
But currently, we are not paying it in April or anywhere down the line.
It has a repayment schedule, right? So the repayment schedule we have to pay. Quarter to quarter, this repayment will be there.
Okay. Got it. Thank you so much.
So this only long-term debt is only 909 crore.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, we would like to remind our participants to please limit their question to one per participant. If time permits, you may join the queue for any follow-ups. We have the next question from the line of Aditya Jawar as an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah.
Congratulations for a great set of numbers. I have a question from the longer term perspective. Like you said that FY27 we have the 5,000 crore revenue. But I want to understand whether the growth aspect, right now we are going into, as you discussed, that chlorotoluene chemistry. So what are the more avenues that will go and on the acquisition, how will we achieve this? Because as we say that we want to move from commoditized to derivative segment, right? So what are the more avenues where we'll see the growth? I want to understand the broader picture on this part.
Yeah. So, from current level to the next phase up to 3,000 crore at the current conditions, we are able to reach by chlorinated PVC and the epichlorohydrin project which we have announced and which we are going to commission in the next 3 to 4 months time, and the chlorotoluene what we have announced. So remaining projects are, as we have mentioned in the earlier question as well, that we are going to, there are many projects are under discussion, but we are going to enter in the chemistry which is first time in India, and which is the replacement of the import substitute, and which is a chlorine or hydrogen derivative. So that is going to be the primary focus, but we are not able to comment on the exact project what we are going to come. So at the right time, after the board approval, we are going to announce that project as well.
Okay. So wherever we are entering, suppose we are entering in any import substitution, there we want to achieve scalability, like we want to be the largest producer, or we want to, based on the demand, we'll set up the capacity.
So that, because depends on the molecule, what kind of molecule it is export oriented or it is only on the domestic base. So based on each molecule has their each strength and weaknesses. So based on that evaluation, we are going to decide the capacity. And every organization has their own appetite for the commissioning of the project, what kind of capacity they would like to come. So that right capacity also we decide based, I think probably in the right time, we will declare the capacity of the new project as well.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Nikhil Gandhi from FinServ Global Services. Please go ahead.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations on great set of numbers. I just had a couple of questions, and maybe you have answered them in a previous. Someone has asked those questions, but let's just go ahead and ask those questions. The first one is about the epichlorohydrin. So in the last quarterly meeting, it was mentioned that the project was completed 90%, and it was going to get commissioned in the first quarter of FY23. So do we know exact update, like when it will be commissioned and start adding on top line and the bottom line?
Yeah. So we are planning to commission the trial run. We are going to start probably from the 15th of May, and by end of May or beginning of June, we are going to commission the project full-fledged, and we are going to announce. That is the time schedule we have planned based on the today's situation for the epichlorohydrin. Yeah.
And in initial few quarters, like how much would be the utilization we are expecting the revenue from the epichlorohydrin project? Like let's say first quarter after the commission, first or second quarter, like is it going to be like more than 50%?
So in Q2, the capacity utilization would be somewhere around 40-50%, and then Q3 onwards, it will gradually increase.
Okay. Okay. And the second question was regarding the caustic soda prices. Like I remember in quarter, I think quarter 2 of FY22, you mentioned that the caustic soda prices will remain firm till the February of this year, which was correct assessment on your end. So right now we see that there is a trend on the caustic soda prices, but how long you assess that the prices will remain firm? Just an assessment from your end, because I saw that your assessment was pretty, positive and it was correct. So I just want to get the assessment on the future, how the prices of the caustic soda will be.
See, currently the demand has very high international market as well as domestic market, because the another two sectors which was down in the domestic segment like paper and textile, which was also picked up in last couple of months. So we are expecting high growth but it is going in tandem with the energy cost right now in the world situation. So as energy cost is going to go down a little bit, definitely there is a possibility there is a correction of the caustic soda price as well. But I believe that there is no impact on the margin in next couple of quarters.
Thank you, Mr. Gandhi. Request you to join the queue for any follow-up. We have a next question from the line of Sanket Goradia from RS Investment. Please go ahead. Sanket, your line is unmuted for question. Please go ahead. Team says no response from the line. We will move to our next question. That is from the line of Neeraj Mansinka from White Pine Investment Management. Please go ahead.
Yes, there's a follow-up. I dropped last time. Just one last question which I could not get an answer. The coal prices, what is the cost of power right now in the last quarter, in the Q4?
You're talking about the cost of generation?
Yes, like you had given a number of 7.67 for the last year number. I was wanting to get the Q4 number.
I think Maulik answered. The power cost is around about 7.67% for the year as a whole for FY22.
Yes.
Quarter, you're talking about quarter 4?
Yes.
It is about 9.15 per unit of generation. Yeah, rupees 9.15 paisa. Yeah.
Okay. And related question: do you see this increase? How much do you see increase or decrease from this number? I think you said that you don't see much changes, but just wanted to give a number to it.
We feel this price is at the peak, but again, where it will go from here on, it's anyone's guess. So I guess we cannot comment on that.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, due to paucity of time, that would be our last question for today. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Kaushal Saparkar for closing comments. Thank you, and over to you.
In conclusion, let me highlight that MFL is very well suited for numerous end-user segments. Our roadmap for near-term as well as long-term appears promising as we incorporate new downstreams and value-added products offering, while also strengthening our existing platform of resources. Once again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today. If there are still unanswered questions, please feel free to reach us to our IR team. Thank you, everyone, for your participation. Have a great evening ahead. Stay safe. Stay well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.